Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Hugh Effin Lee.
What's up, everybody? This is Chu. Welcome to episode 6. It's getting towards the end of 2014, so I thought I would do one last and final show for this year. So I'm going to try to have 2 shows in one because tomorrow is going to be New Year's Eve, and just like many of you, I will be out and about, hanging out, celebrating the end of the 2014 and then welcoming the new year 2015. Tonight I want to, before I start, let me tell you what's going to happen for the first show of 2015. I contacted some ghost hunters, investigators. I'm not sure what they want to call themselves at this point, but they go out and they investigate, houses, buildings that apparently are haunted. So I've been in contact with these guys, mainly one guy, and we've agreed to do an episode this coming Saturday. Unless things change on their end, then we might have to postpone the show, but at this point, it sounds like it's a go for this Saturday, so I'm very excited to get these guys on and have them share with us what they've encountered and their experiences with the paranormal. So that'll be cool. So looking forward to that. And another interesting thing you guys might want to hear is I've been able to figure out how to do my podcast in video format. So starting 2015, most of my episodes, if not all, will be video. I think it might be interesting for some of you guys to just put a face to the voice. And trust me, this face is not anything exciting to look at, but if you guys don't like the face and you just want to keep the audio, that's cool with me too. Just be like, hey, Chew, you too ugly, man. Keep it audio, and I will respect that. All right, anyway, let's get back to the show. I want to talk about universal paranormal phenomenon for this first portion of tonight's show. And then I want to end the show with year in review. So what's happened to me and my spiritual journey in the year 2014. So let's start off with the universal paranormal phenomenon. I want to talk about how science tries to downplay a lot of paranormal experiences and phenomenon. I think what science does is good. It's not all bad, okay? I do support and see why it makes sense for science to try to debunk some paranormal experiences or stories. But then at the same time, I guess it depends what their intentions are that makes it a big deal to me. I think a lot of spiritual experiences and phenomenon are worth doing more research as to why this happens or how does it happen, where does it happen, versus it's all in your head. It's a weather phenomenon, or it's just your brain, the chemicals in your brain that's not functioning correctly. That's why you're experiencing paranormal experiences. That's when I have a problem with it. And don't get me wrong, there are people out there who have severe mental health issues, who claim, for example, folks who are diagnosed with schizophrenia or psychosis, some of those people are mentally ill. And when science wants to get into the picture and try to explain why this person who has schizophrenia keeps talking about how they hear voices, um, or somebody who claims to have hallucinations and see things that nobody else can see. I'd like to know um, how or why these people are having these experiences, whether it's a mental health issue or they're really experiencing it. Now, the interesting thing is when science gets into, like, they start investigating cases of paranormal activities, they use this statement, which I think is pretty clever. They won't ever, I shouldn't say they won't ever, but most of the time they tend to make a blanket statement to give them room to explain themselves, and they don't want to take sides. So they won't really say, yes, this person can see dead people, or no, this person is not seeing dead people. And the famous statement that they use is this person really believes that they experience this or that paranormal activity. See, so they won't say, yeah, this person is experiencing it because we have proof. They'll say stuff like, yeah, this person believes he or she experiences these activities. And as viewers, listeners, watchers, a lot of the times that's not that's not the answer we're looking for, because we want to know whether it's true or not. But science has a way to make these statements to kind of watch their asses as well at the same time, because they don't want to be labeled, or they don't want to be attached to any cases that the public or society might say, what, science believes that there are ghosts. So that's the problem I have with science when they try to explain things. But they cannot, I in my opinion, I don't think science can ignore the fact that a lot of these paranormal activities happen on a worldwide scale. For example, people who see spirits of their past or deceased loved ones. It just doesn't happen in the Hmong community. It's just not white people that sees their great grandma, great grandpa, or maybe their son or daughter who passed. They see their spirits. People in all countries report having the similar experiences of seeing spirits of past loved ones. So how can science really ignore that and try to explain it away? So the point of me talking about the universal paranormal phenomenon is for those of you who are opening up to your spiritual journey, you may encounter skeptics who are going to make you feel and sound like a crazy person. And it's dangerous because it might stop you in your tracks. You might start to give in and believe that, wow, I think they're right. I think I'm going nuts. I'm really not experiencing these things. I'm really not seeing ghosts in my house. At nighttime, I'm really not experiencing demonic attacks. It's just all in my head. Be careful, okay? So speaking of nighttime demonic attacks, aka night terrors, sleep paralysis, chachua. Alright, so that's also a universal phenomenon. There are many, many reports all over the world of people experiencing night terrors, sleep paralysis, machua. Okay, so if other cultures in other countries are experiencing the same thing, I think there's some truth to it. We don't need science to come in and say, that's just all in your head. It just doesn't make sense to me, okay? Another phenomenon is, you guys might think I'm crazy for talking about this, but UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Everybody all over the world, they see objects in the skies that don't look like airplanes, don't look like satellites at night. I've personally seen objects in the skies that do not look like airplanes. And there have been many times where it's just not me, the only person seeing this. I have people that actually see it with me. And we were not smoking or doing drugs or under any kind of influence. Sometimes me and a buddy, we'll go out at night, and I have a pair of night vision goggles. They're pretty expensive. About retail is probably about $3,500. So you can see the night skies very clear, and you'll see many, many more objects up there. Anyway, so we use this to look up in the skies at night to look specifically for abnormal activity, such as if we just see a ball, a light, or something up in the sky that's flashing. We're not quick to say, "Oh, there it is. There's a UFO." We take time to just look at it, study the pattern of this object to see how it's moving, to see if it's just one object. Are there multiple objects together? What's their flight pattern? Are there flashes that they're showing off? So we look at details too. So anyway, so this phenomenon of UFOs, it's universal. People all over the world, they reported seeing things in the skies. And if you guys have done your research, there's cave paintings of these supposedly aliens or extraterrestrials from another planet. And then there's the cave paintings of these entities all over the world, in all cultures. So if many people all over the world from different, countries are reporting the same phenomenon, again, to me, I don't think we need science to come and try to debunk it. I'd rather have them come in and tell us what it is, and not say it's all in your head. It's a mass hysteria. It's not real. It's not a ghost or a UFO. Okay, another universal phenomenon is Bigfoot. Yeah. So we live in America. I'm assuming all of you listening to me, or at least most of you, live in America, and we've heard a thing or two about Bigfoot. The Native Americans, they have their own stories and history with Bigfoot, with these creatures. And in Russia, in Asia, in South America, in Australia, again, this phenomenon is all over the world. So if this is happening again, do we really need science to come in and say, you guys are just nuts? I don't think it makes sense. Okay. Another phenomenon, near-death experiences. People who experience these, they either go and see loved ones who've passed, they see angels, sometimes they see hell. But again, it's the same experience. They pretty much talk about the same thing, what they see. Another phenomenon, shamans. Not only in the Hmong community, right? There's shamans in the Native American community. There's shamans in the natives in the Amazon, South America. Some people call them voodoo priests, but they pretty much do their work as just like shamans do as well. So shamanism is a spiritual advisor, pretty much. It's a universal phenomenon. Okay, so I don't need science to come and tell me, that's just a bunch of baloney, a bunch of magical thinking. I don't think it's necessarily true at all times. So think about this whole universal phenomenon and universal paranormal experiences that you hear about. Don't be too quick on second guessing what you're experiencing. A lot of the times, people who don't believe refuse to believe because they're scared to believe. And I think this is true for a lot of men. We don't like to get, we don't like to look like suckers, We don't want to get fooled because somehow it's going to hurt our pride and our ego. But if we can let that go, I think we can be more accepting of the possibilities of paranormal or spiritual experiences. And so when, as guys, I think they're afraid. Okay, now let's not talk too much about guys, but let's talk about the skeptics. The skeptics, it's okay to be a skeptic. I think it's good to have skeptics around. I mean, there's these type of skeptics who appear to have an explanation for every single situation. And sometimes when I read into that person, it's more like that person is scared to acknowledge that, well, that was probably a ghost or a demon. And I don't know how to deal with it, so I'm going to try to explain it or find an excuse so I feel comfortable in my shoes, so I don't have to deal with that fear. That could be it, But yeah, so I think it's healthy to be a skeptic too. I mean, to me, I'm a skeptic in a lot of things. It's just not a certain topic or one single topic. To me, I question like what's really going on, and to me, it's my truth, my experience. So if I experience something and somebody else come and tell me and say, dude, man, you didn't see or hear that. Well, it happened to me, and I don't care what other people say. Okay, and same thing for you as well. If it happened to you, if you saw a ghost, if you saw a spirit or a UFO or even Bigfoot, and you really did see it, who cares what people say to you? Who cares how they try to explain it away? I think you are smart enough to understand what's real and what's not. You're not a kid, you know what I'm saying? I have full confidence that a lot of you out there have a rational and clear-minded when you experience these like paranormal activities. So, who cares what people say? All right. So yeah. So don't let the science community stop you in your tracks of spiritual development. Don't let the skeptics do it too. They can be as skeptic as they want, but if you have received some type of spiritual message, or you're experiencing some spiritual phenomenon, look into it more. And how I would recommend is meditate on it. Pause with it and see what comes out of it. Don't just, how do you say, shrug it off. Say, oh, yeah, I heard somebody call my name, whatever. No, I don't think you should say whatever. I think you should figure out what the heck it was and whether it's good for that thing to keep calling your name or not. just me. You don't have to do it, but that's just what I would recommend. So, universal phenomenon, folks. Please, please don't let the science and the skeptics um, distract you from your calling, okay? All right, so now I'm going to talk about my year in review, what's happened to me this year. And some of you guys, you can probably turn this off at this point. It might not interest you, but it may. I don't know, but I'll share it anyway. So I think one of the biggest things, one of my highlights of 2014 is when I returned to the page that I started, the Facebook page, which is Empowerment for Spiritually Gifted Hmong Peeps. So that was like very, very satisfying for me. You know, I felt like I became a lot stronger spiritually, more in tune again. But I had to leave for a while, and when I came back, I was very happy with how the members grew so fast within just a 12-month period that I was gone. So I want to thank the admins for this. Pa, Mai, and Zong. You guys did an awesome job. And I don't know if I'm gonna leave that page again, depending on what life throws at me. But I look at it like this, man. I help plant a seed, and those folks, the admins, and everybody else that contributes to that page, you guys help water that page and made it grow the way it did. So I'm very thankful for all of you guys contributing, and I encourage you guys to continue to do so. So that was one of the highlights. It's for me to come back. Another highlight, as far as like spirituality goes, is the spiritual retreats that we had. We had 2 this year. We almost had 3, but the third one didn't work out. We'll have another one soon here, but I was able to meet people, put faces to names at these retreats, and learn from a lot of people, and I hope they learned from me as well. But the second spiritual retreat was pretty powerful, I think, because somebody, I won't say their name, but you know who I'm talking about, you had this powerful experience there. Let's just put it that way. And if you want to share that with folks, then maybe you can come on the show and share, huh? But that's up to you. But yeah, so that was another highlight, is to have these spiritual retreats, to put faces to names, and to just have this face-to-face, live in person get together and just talk about our spiritual experiences and share spiritual perspectives. And so far, these 2 retreats, to me, I found them to be very powerful. Everybody has been very respectful of each other, and from whether they believe in Christianity or they're into shamanism, it didn't matter. We all came together and just listened to each other, and for me at least, I felt comfortable, and I was very happy. So that was a cool highlight for this year. Another highlight was I met more people, did more readings for people, and that was fun. It's always fun and powerful when I do these readings. Helps me grow spiritually, and I hope it has helped them spiritually as well. So aside from spirituality, one of the best highlights I can remember recently is when my family and I went on a Disney Dream Cruise. That was awesome. Usually my family and I, we try to go to like Mexico once a year, and we don't just go to any part of Mexico. We go to the resorts because that's a safer area for all of us. But yeah, I enjoyed being by the beach, especially in Cancun, the turquoise blue ocean, the white sand beaches, and it has to be all inclusive now, because there's no better feeling than to be at a resort and be treated like a king. You eat when you want to, you sleep when you want to, you go to the ocean when you want to, you go to the swimming pool. So I recommend, if you guys don't travel and you're looking forward to taking a vacation or traveling somewhere cool, go to Cancun. Maybe not during spring break, but they have beautiful beaches. I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to Miami, but I think the beaches in Cancun so far are the best, and I totally recommend it. So that happened in August, which was pretty cool. And then another highlight was me doing this. Well, I tried to, because I did this what you call it. It's kind of like a video chat thing where when I had my spiritual retreats in the Twin Cities here, I knew that a lot of folks, a lot of the members on the page, they're not from the Twin Cities. They live out of state. So I tried to be more accommodating and have the video conference room where we all can be a part of it and see each other via webcam. But I think, I don't know, I can't remember what happened, but it didn't work out. So at least I tried it and learned from it. I mean, it's something that still can be done, but I think it's going to take a lot more time planning it out. So those of you who participated in that experiment, thank you very much. I got to see some of you guys, and some of you guys got to see me. So that was cool. And then another highlight for me was doing this whole podcast thing. I've always wanted to do a podcast, but wasn't sure how to structure or plan it out. Then I was like, let's start it off with these spiritual talks, for my Facebook page, and we'll see where it goes from here. So I've had fun doing these, podcast episodes. So if you guys listen to it, you guys enjoy it, thank you for listening to it. And if you guys think like, man, this guy sounds like an idiot, well, then stop listening to me. Or maybe you guys like listening to this idiot, and I'm fine with it too. So I'm having fun with this podcast. I'm gonna have more people on the podcast. As you guys hear from the intro, it's ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Maybe, and I say maybe because no matter what you talk about or what subject it is, some people's gonna find it interesting. Some people's just not gonna give two shits about it, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong subjects to talk about. So that was a highlight. Now I want to talk really brief about just the lowlights. And this doesn't have to do with the spiritual page, but just for me. So in March, my maternal grandmother passed away. My grandma on my mom's side, and we had to go to California. It was it was totally unexpected. I haven't seen her for years, and one of the things that I will have to live with for the rest of my life. And this is a very personal story, but I'm willing to share this, and I share this so that maybe you can learn something from it. Okay. The last time I saw my grandmother was over 10 years ago in South Carolina. One of my cousins from my mom's side, first cousin, he passed away. He was very young. He was only 16 or 17 at the time due to a motor vehicle accident. So my mom and I went down there, and my grandma was there. And I remember when I was going to come back home, my grandmother was crying, and she was holding me, and I was crying. And I told my grandma, you gotta stop crying. Why do you keep crying? And she said this. She said, I cry because I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. And I was young at the time. I brushed it off. I was like, Grandma, that's nonsense. Don't say that. We'll see each other again. Well, then life happens. I haven't seen her for over 10 years. She lives in Fresno, and at the time we all met in South Carolina because that's where my cousin passed. So she went back home to Fresno. I came back to Minnesota. Years went by. I never made the effort to go see my grandmother. then she passed just this past March. So I feel bad, you know. I When I went to the funeral, I kept thinking about what she said to me 10 years ago. I cried because I don't know if I'm going to see you again. And she was right. So I guess the message here for all of you is, spend as much time as you can with the people you care about. Whether they live near or far, make the effort to go see them. If not, at least once a year, because things happen, man. Things happen. People pass. People get sick. Things happen, and it's like a blink of an eye, then they're gone. So that's one of the lowlights of my experience this year. What's another one? I can't really think of any other ones other than that one. Well, I know that a lot of you guys probably had experienced somebody passing away too. So I don't know. This has been a strange year, but December has been a very strange month because I think a lot of, and maybe you guys can agree with me or not, but there was a lot of things happening in December. A lot of significant changes for people. I can't explain it, but the energy for December was very, very almost bipolar. Some people had a lot of great things happen to them all at once, while other folks had a lot of bad things happen to them all at once. But hey, I think everything happens for a reason. So don't be too down on yourself if you happen to be the folks to where so many bad things happen to you all at once. So I think that was pretty much the lowlights for me for this year. Just my grandmother passing away, because I can't think of any other one that was very important. But and then my brother. This is a highlight. My brother got married in April. And then my sister got married in, was it August or September? One of those. So good things been happening so far, and I look forward to 2015. I think whether we like it or not, things are gonna happen. Good or bad, it's gonna happen. It's just how we deal with it. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you guys in 2015. And I hope this page, or not this page, well, yeah, this page, the empowerment page, grows. Feel free to share these episodes on your Facebook status. You just copy the link on YouTube and then post it onto your status, and hopefully people will be interested in listening to it. And if you guys do that, shoot me a private message and say, hey, Chu, I posted this episode on my Facebook status, and then I will give you a shout out on one of my episodes. Okay? Yeah, I know. Whoa, great. Yeah, you're gonna give me a shout out. Yeah, that's gonna be very valuable. Some people might think it's valuable. Who cares? But that's what I'll do. All right, folks. Thanks again. I hope you guys had a wonderful 2014. I look forward to seeing you guys more in 2015. Blessings to all of you. See ya.